everyone, I'm Apollonia Ponti, your dating and relationship coach for you men to go confidently in the direction to attract that love life that you desire. In this video, I am going to give you 9 signs that you are in a hot and heavy relationship and it's just going to end up fizzling away. There is this common trend that is going on where couples or people that are dating are just getting involved too early on and getting involved really fast. And I'm going to explain that to you, what that may look like if this is something that you might be experiencing today in your life with someone, or if it's something that you have a tendency to adapt to. So you meet someone and just sparks fly because there's some type of connection that you just cannot put your finger on, and you spend almost every waking minute together. You have an unbelievable physical connection with each other and probably had sex early on or came sooner rather than later. And the sexual chemistry that the both of you have is magnetic and significant, where it comes to the point where you're saying to yourself, wow, if the sex is so good, maybe this is the person I'm supposed to be with. And it becomes this addiction. It becomes an attraction because it's nothing like you've experienced before. But what you have to understand about this, if this has something that happens to you, is a lot of times when relationships thrive off of sex, it's because a lot of times these expectations are not aligned with each other. Maybe 1, they're not talked about, or 2, subconsciously, the both of you know that they aren't. So when expectations are not aligned with each other, it gives each of you a whirlwind romance because it's always that what if. It's kind of like living life on the edge. But remember, it takes time to get to really know someone. Just because you might have seen this incredible woman and spent some time and the chemistry is amazing does not mean that she does not have flaws, does not mean that she might not be that woman for you. And that's what we get lost in. When we get in these hot and heavy relationships, we get lost in thinking of the Disney picture, the Disney outcome of the what if. She is amazing because of all of these needs that she's supplying you. But underneath the surface, what does she truly have to offer? So when we get hot and heavy too fast, it's a whirlwind of a relationship, and we start to not really have those conversations, and we really don't really get to know each other. So a lot of people get this confused. You think that you know this person because you spend every waking minute with them, because you're getting hot and heavy very soon, and you spend a lot of time with each other, but you're more or less having fun, having sex, and really just can't keep your eyes off of each other. So that's why when you cultivate a healthy relationship, I always say it's so vital that you take your time. The reason being is because you really get to understand someone and you really get to know someone at your own pace and at the relationship's pace, because of the fact that it gives you time to separate and to grow and to analyze the situation and to really challenge each other with not only personal growth, but life goals too. So when you don't rush into things, it has more value on the relationship because you appreciate it more in the long run. So let's go into the 9 tips of what a hot and heavy relationship looks like and the tips of why it may fizzle out soon. Tip number 1. You might find yourself texting a lot. I mean, you text all day, every day about your food, about your environment, what you're doing, and then you're seeing each other that night or the next day. So you find yourself texting a lot, and also your days get lighter because of the fact that you see their texts. Now, this is not to dismiss true relationship ideal attraction process when you're courting each other, but this means that in a relationship like this, you're texting every day, every minute, and you look forward to it, and it kind of gives you this amp of I am valued, or they see me, and it makes you feel better when all you need is to feel better from within with you and you only. Tip number 2, you have instant sexual chemistry, and it's like you can't get enough of each other. Now, this is not to say this is a bad thing at all, because it's freaking amazing, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, if this is all that the relationship is based off of, it can end up being a relationship that will end up fizzling away, because sex-based relationships cannot last forever, especially if you're wanting to have that true healthy relationship. Tip number 3, You put this person on a pedestal, and this is true idolization at its finest. Meaning you put that person as superior of you, like she is amazing and only if I can have her, I would be such a better man, which isn't the case and which is not the truth. You are a better man because of the validation that you give yourself and the confidence that you have in with yourself. That's what's going to make a woman attracted to you long term and forever, as long as you carry that within. If you seek validation and put a woman on a pedestal that is not deserving of this, especially, you want to meet each other on the pedestal. You want to have that even clarity of the both of you and appreciation of the both of you. But if you're here and she's here, it's going to just set you up for a whirlwind of disaster, and neediness, insecurities are going to take effect. This is true idolization at its finest. Let me give you clarification of what idolization is. The action of regarding or representing something that is better than actual reality. Tip number 4, one of you ends up feeling distance. This happens so much in hot and heavy relationships because it's too much too soon. And honestly, it's just not feasible. It's a relationship that one of you will end up fizzling away and becoming distant because you start to notice that this is too much too soon and you went face first right into this relationship. Tip number 5, you overlook the red flags. This is so common in dating with men and women, doesn't matter. Is you overlook red flags because of the idolization that I mentioned, or you're putting this other person on a pedestal because you're trying to validate yourself in order to get this relationship. It's gonna make you feel more superior. It's gonna make you more attractive. It's gonna make you more better. It's gonna make you better to spend time with someone and spend time in your life with someone. It's going to make you feel better to come home to someone, to call, to someone to care about you, for someone to love you. All of this stuff needs to be thrown out the window because if you don't have this internally from within, then this is what's going to happen. You will start to not focus on the red flags. You know that little funny feeling that you get when you're dating someone and you're like, maybe she should have not done that, but I'm going to ignore that. Or maybe that wasn't healthy. Or maybe it's weird that she hasn't replied to me in like 4 days. And then all of a sudden now she wants to be a part of my life. You have to understand something. As you date, you cannot give them expectations until your expectations are met. And that's what takes time in the courting process of a relationship. And when you get hot and heavy, you build expectations too early on, and expectations for relationships are meant to be thrown little at a time as you get to know someone, so you get to know their behaviors, their values, their traits, and their habits. When you have expectations of a woman in your head that she should be doing a certain thing and she doesn't, and she disrespects you and disobeys you in the relationship, and she lets her true color shine, this is when it's up to you to walk away with your dignity and know this is not something that you will tolerate. And either one, she just won't step back into your life because she's not the woman that is meant for you, or two, she's going to focus on herself to develop herself and put that personal development in so she can finally be with you. This is about holding your dignity. When you see a red flag, it's so important to not focus on this is not happening right now because I like her, she's beautiful, and the sex is amazing, especially if you want to have that healthy relationship. What you have to do is point that out, be opinionated about it, and talk about it, and note to the woman that it's not tolerable. Because what ends up happening so much, and I know I'm going on in this one, but it's so important that I continue to emphasize on this on a lot of my videos, is we build this facade of what we want. And then we build this perfect picture and we paint this picture. And when we see the red flags, we ignore them. And then as years and months go on, the men, you ignore the red flags, but then end up being a victim to your own reality because of the fact that you ignored these flags early on. And then this woman ends up leaving you, cheating on you, using you, whatever the case may be, when in the fact of the matter is she never deserved you in the first place. So don't ignore those red flags. Remember, you deserve a great woman. Tip number 6 is one of you is on the rebound. I mean, this happens pretty often in today's age, unfortunately. And if you've seen one of my videos, I talk about how to recover from a breakup, and I'll put it up here in the description box above. But other than that, there's a lot of times where you will just be on the rebound, or she will be on the rebound, and you might not, and you know she's on the rebound, but this goes back to what I was just talking about, a red flag. Even though you are highly, highly attracted to her, you have to put yourself first. And if it's wanting a relationship with this woman and not just a sex-based relationship, then you have to move on, give her the time to heal her heavy heart from the relationship, and then not be that rebound man so you can hold yourself to the pedestal. Tip number 7, you spend a lot of time together, but it's often on her watch. So this happens a lot with couples when they're dating and these hot and heavy relationships is you forget about everything that's going on in your life in order to provide for the other person. So meaning whenever they want to hang out, whenever they want to see you, you are always there. Number 8 is happiness is always dependent on them. You've heard this a lot in a lot of my tips today on this video, but happiness is so important that you find the inner happiness from within in order to be that confident, direct man to get that woman that you desire, because they're really out there. But here's the thing is I see so many men thinking completely opposite. But we live in a world where we are humans, obviously. But behind us is an energy-based life. And that's where our emotions come from. Where is this emotion that you feel? Where do you think this emotion truly comes from? The feeling of sadness, the feeling of happiness. It's all based on energy. Behind what we can see and picture as a human, it's our souls. What we feel is emotion. And if you don't have that happiness within, and you think that every woman out there is to get you, then you will attract this stuff, because everything in life is energy. So your own happiness is significant as a value to you as a man in order to find that relationship, because there are plenty of women that are good, healthy women out there that are waiting for you. And tip number 9, they're scared to have the "what are we" talk. Okay. This typically comes down to when you're in a hot and heavy relationship and months go on, like a month or 2, and then all of a sudden someone starts to pull back and get distant because they're scared that we are going to have the talk of the what if, what are we? And this comes down to really not detecting the red flags overall and not setting the expectations of why taking your time is so important, because this gives you time to cultivate the right message that you want to get across, get to know each other, and really see what that other person is wanting out of life and is wanting out of you. If you have trouble and you find yourself going through this a lot in life and getting into hot and heavy relationships and going head first, I really advise you to reach out to me for a private one-on-one session to see why this is happening so we can change this once and for all. And since you stayed till the very end of this video, I have something special for you. It's my 7 Common Mistakes ebook. I'll put that in the description box below. And if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. And if this is your first time subscribing, please take the time to subscribe so you can get that daily advice sent to you every single day. And until next time, I'll see you again in the next video. And remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.